everybody. I'm here with Russ Dobson, COO now of NODE. Congratulations.
Thanks very much.
Nice little promotion,
Yeah.
step up. For all those that don't know NODE, maybe it's good for you to give the quick elevator speech of what you guys are all about.
Yeah, so when we first formed NODE, what we was all about is solving pain points for service providers, operators and owners of the business and of the buildings. Those being lengthy processes in way leave commitments for service providers, fragmented networks and operating systems for the operators of the buildings, and then costly and lengthy legal negotiations and insufficient knowledge and partners that they could deal with in the technical space to trust in their service providers to provide the correct amount of service without any fog and disillusion around what they're doing and how they're doing it. We provide digital connectivity solutions that appeal to all types of asset classes. That starts with our digital backbone through our Converge networks and into our Wi-Fi solutions.
Amazing. And how's it going?
Good. We had a bit of a change at the back end of 2024. We got 100% acquired by another business called Shared Access, who do supplier agnostic mobile boosting solutions into all asset classes, so it fit very well into the neutral approach of what NODE do. A short transition period over the first few quarters of 2025, but we've got to grips operationally, internally and externally of how we best work together, how we communicate, the way we need to communicate to each other and what works best. Our focus is all aligned, and now sort of the back end of last year and the start of this year has been all about growth, how we can attack the markets and really present our solutions to the wider UK and European markets.
Yeah, and we're really fortunate and lucky to have certified both Shared Access and NODE. Both are part of the Smart Building Collective. And really it's a fascinating combination, right? Because it's total infrastructure and connectivity solution for a building. That the connectivity, of course, is so important for getting work done, or in hospitals getting good medical care out to people, or in I love the recent news that they've done about the stadiums. You know, new different ways of getting connectivity to deliver value. But NODE kind of starts there, right? I mean, that's where the foundation gets laid, and Shared Access doing that from a mobile connectivity perspective. Where does it go from there?
And that's what we realised when we first formed NODE. What we was about is putting this fibre backbone into buildings and just focusing on the ISP, the internet service provider pain points. And what we didn't look at in the early days was what else, what other pain points were people experiencing. It quickly became apparent that things like that mobile boosting, smart technology integrations, fragmented networks were all pain points at different levels of an asset. So what we've done now is streamline the service lines. It's not just, NODE is not just a backbone solution, a fibre solution anymore. We do 3 separate service lines. One being NODE Connect, which is our anchor product, which is the backbone solution. It allows access for all service providers to connect to a building and then provide their services on a plug and play basis. We do NODE Converged, which is a Converge network, which takes away those pain points of asset managers where they're setting up BMS systems and lift systems and CCTV systems all on unsupported, unmanaged and unprotected networks. We converge them into a single layer network and operate them for our clients. The third piece is the Wi-Fi piece. We offer that to co-working spaces, event spaces, or as a tenant extension in a building, or on sort of pop-up stands or event stands where we'll just do a Wi-Fi for a certain amount of time and then take it away. But they all can be installed. I think what we did quite inefficiently in a sort of infancy was provide everything as a package, or you don't have anything. What we do now is split them up. They can be provided individually or as part of a full stack solution where you want everything working through Node.
Well, and I think that's such an important piece to this whole story, right? It's not just about giving, everything and saying I want to add value with this whole package. There's a education process that's also happening in the real estate industry of what are the different levels and steps that we should be taking to move forward. And what we've seen in just the last 4 or 5 years together with Node is that smart is being looked at far more holistically now, right? Which is so exciting because it's not just human health and performance and people, but it's building performance, talking about energy and water and utility data. It's about efficiency management, about facility management, and how do you make an asset more efficient in how you operate it. So tackling all those things at the same time is just fundamental now, and I think it's becoming more and more the norm, and people are starting to realize that. Where do you, with your all's customer base, how far do you see them in that process, and are you encouraged by what we see, or what are you hoping to see in the coming years?
I think we're encouraged by the fact that people are actually paying attention to it now. I think what we need to do is make owners and operators of these buildings understand that you need to have a roadmap. You don't have to do everything at once. Most assets have what you need. It's how you layer things together and how you converge them together and make that building intelligent by connecting all the dots not at the same time, but building a product roadmap for what's most important, what are your pain points now, and let's fix that. And then let's look at what you want to do over the next 3, 5, 10 years and look how we can build that capacity in, and what solution providers need to be playing the game in your building, and when they need to come. It can become a very costly and lengthy process if you try to do too much too soon, but if you have the knowledge in your head and the technical expertise either internally or externally with a provider to say this is where we need to be, this is how we get there, I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, I mean that's what we've seen, right? Like with the smart building certification when we launched in 2020, you had all these flagship buildings that put in more tech than they ever could imagine using, right? And then just a few years later, it's we're not getting quite the value from this tech that we thought we would. Why is that? And that comes for a number of different reasons, right? You might have bought it in a tech that didn't deliver on its promises quite, or you didn't organize your process or your governance to use that data in a meaningful way. So I think I'm really encouraged as well by the consciousness that is starting to emerge as to what does it actually take to make this useful and meaningful in how we do it. So when you guys come in and you guys talk about base layer foundational stuff, how do you kind of recommend, or what do you recommend for people who are trying to get started, don't quite know how? What's the right way to get started?
I think again it's having that clear roadmap and understanding of where you want to be, but also having a partner, whether that be Node or someone else in the technical space that understands your requirement, but then doesn't push for too much too soon, understands what data you need out now, and what's a long-term goal, what's a short-term goal, and why are those long-term goals. I think the why behind why you need things is important. It's not just an ambition to have the most shiny and newest sensor or smart application because it's the newest and the best at the moment. It's what do you need it for? It's the why that really matters, instead of how quickly can we get there. It's how well we can do it and who we do it with. I think the who we do it with is important. There's a lot of people that sell the intelligence in a box, and this is the one stop. The reason we broke up our service lines is because if you want to trust us with one or with three service lines, it's all the same to us. The more we can improve the intelligence of that building in a small way or in a large way, it's a part of it.
Yeah, I love that, and I think starting with the end in mind. What is the result that you're after? What is the thing that you're trying to solve? That's where it all starts, right? In our recent ROI think tank, we coined this kind of term, basic math versus comprehensive math. And basic math says, you can have a 1-for-1 ROI calculation against connectivity as an example.
Yeah.
Like, what is the ROI of your connectivity? Still not easy to calculate, but you get what I'm saying. There's a 1-to-1 kind of calculation. Comprehensive math says, what are all the value cases that you can derive from that connectivity service that you bought? And a building, you don't just get that value based on buying that functionality. You have to intentionally structure yourself to use the data, to build a process, to build governance, so that you can calculate or that you can actually benefit from those values. But imagine if there's 10 of them and you're doing 2 or 3, there's a ton of opportunity to get this kind of exponential value and exponential growth from just using what you already have more smart.
We've seen it time and time again with assets and clients that put so many solutions into buildings, and then, like you said earlier on, they don't see the ROI from that, because the product that they've seen, which is your base build connectivity, it's your Wi-Fi system, it's your 4G, 3G, 5G systems, don't work efficiently enough to then gear and work your smart applications or your sensor applications or any other smart tech that you have in place, because your foundational technology, which you didn't see ROI in because it's the unsexy part of smart tech, it's the foundational core infrastructure. You didn't see the value in that part, but nothing works without it. You need to get that piece right. That's the important part of having this roadmap, right? It's getting your first steps right to make sure that step 10 to 20 is correct in the end. 100%.
What does the coming 12 months look like for you guys? What is your focus at the moment?
Focus is, as ever, growing quickly. I think shared access, the investment from shared access and the acquisition from shared access allowed us, one, to finance differently in a different way than we have done in the past. We used to do a CapEx payment and then a smaller OpEx payment on the back end. We offer full optionality to our clients now, but there's an option there to completely OpEx everything, so you pay nothing up front for our services. It's all in predictable, affordable, long-term payment plans, the same as shared access do with their mobile boosting solution. That helped us to grow a lot faster than what we would have done, because we saw a few barriers of entry in CapEx payments. Our next 12 months is about growth. It's about education as well. It's about re-educating and kicking on that education piece of why core connectivity and then your whole building nervous system network is important, and what that gears you towards. That, again, I keep coming back to that roadmap. That having this core connectivity and then Converge network, and then if you wrap in all your other services, it's starting you on that journey that we're hoping to be on with clients for sort of the next 5 to 10 years, and really see smart systems kick into buildings and buildings actually become a lot more intelligent than they are today.
I love it so much, because I think you guys are also hitting on a really, really important piece of this challenge that we have, right? Is that the stakeholder map in smart buildings is highly fragmented, right? And it's who's going to pay for it. A building developer doesn't necessarily want to pay for the things that the tenant is going to benefit from, unless it's going to encourage that tenant to come or to stay or to be there. So to give the developer the ability to put smart connectivity into their building without that, CAPEX is massive, right? I think that's just game changing. And any developer out there who's trying to understand how to make this financially work, these guys are the ones who can help you do that, because that's really going to change the game.
We're at a time now where customer experience and customer happiness within a building is paramount, and your services, whether that be technology services or any other service, needs to be more efficient than it ever has been, because pulling people back into that office, it's still a topic that everybody discusses. A topic that everyone discusses is working from home versus working in the office, and a building has to be now highly tech efficient to meet those occupier demands, and it's one way, a small part of what's going to pull people into that office.
And what's your take on the battle for the office, work from home, work at the office?
I've got 2 kids, so I was always preferred to come into the office, but
I thought you were going to say you wanted to stay home and
no, not at all.
hang out with your kids.
I think, personally, honestly, I think there's a good balance to strike. I think having everybody in an office and being able to collaborate, you can get a lot more done together as a group. It's always beneficial to have time by yourself and work through things that you need to work through. But again, your technology needs to work in both places, and that's where, in the UK especially, we need to up our game in what's delivered to homes as well as what's delivered to in-building solutions, because there's still a large part of the UK that don't have access to the same fibre provision that most of the UK have access to, and it's striking that balance. I know a lot of people prefer being in the office and some people prefer working at home. It's making sure as businesses that we set people up correctly, and again, it's all where we're talking about customer experience in an office environment. It's about employee experience and what their pain points are, what they enjoy doing, what they don't enjoy doing. We have a hybrid pattern at Node, and we decided to move office very recently to again increase that customer experience for our staff, put them in a location that's friendly, close to transport links, has the tech that we need in the building, and just really provides what we'd want for them to work in a controlled and really high-performing environment.
Yeah, we always say that, individual situations are different.
Yeah, of course they are, yeah.
And we have to be flexible in trying to understand how to serve it best. Really cool.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.